Woodley is the former welterweight champion, and no one can ever take that from him. But if he's not careful, he'll be remembered not as the champ, but as the chump. The wordiest, whiniest, most hip-hoppiest, can't-back-it-up fighter of all time. On this week's episode of I Just Want to Talk, we're going to discuss the many, many words of Tyron Woodley. Tyron won the welterweight bout by dramatically KOing Robbie Lawler back in 2016, and he held on to it for nearly 3 years, successfully defending that belt 4 times. This reign, of course, lasted until March 2019, when he was the victim of one of the most lopsided unanimous decisions in title history, getting completely dominated for 25 minutes and losing his belt to Kamaru Usman. Like Usman, Tyron has a history of downplaying his opponent's skill sets, acting as if no one is worthy of mentioning his name, much less sharing the octagon with him. That is until after the fight. After the fight, win or lose, Tyron usually gives the opposition some respect, but he never stops talking. Usman is a perfect example of this. Woodley frequently called him a bum in the build-up to the fight, only to retract that sentiment after the bout, calling Usman a beast. Tyron has always been a guy that's hard to listen to, often long-winded and rarely with much to say. But after the Usman fight, Tyron kicked it up a notch. Of course, I'm referring to his debut rap album, Chaos Theory, which he released just 2 days after losing the belt. I call it a debut album because he seems intent on making more music. But aside from In and Out of Love featuring Matt Serra, I don't see myself listening to many more of Tyron's jams. I've heard a few songs, not the whole album. Some I'm like, well, that was okay. Others, I want to KO myself. I find songs like I'll Beat Your Ass particularly ironic, because Tyron hasn't beaten anyone's ass since that song was released. Now, I didn't conceive of this idea. I've seen many people across the internet voicing this suggestion, but I truly hope when Colby makes that walk to the octagon this weekend, he does so to Chaos Theory. This album, though not the worst rap album you can find, has not been warmly received by hip-hop or MMA enthusiasts, and Tyron doesn't particularly care for the criticism. When Leon Edwards made a few jabs at his budding career, Tyron responded saying, "Stop clout chasing." Well, that and some fairly colorful insults. This video, though, is about all the things he said leading up to this week's bouts against Colby Covington. But there's been plenty of words oozing out of Tyron's mouth about Usman, Leon Edwards, Dan Hooker, and many more for many years. With Colby Covington, I'm never really sure what to believe. Other than the way he fights, nothing seems very genuine. I wouldn't be surprised to learn that Colby doesn't or has ever felt any animosity for Woodley, but Tyron hates Colby. And that hatred seems to be getting the best of him. Before the fight was official, Tyron claimed on multiple occasions that Colby refused to sign the contract. Of course, Colby did sign the contract as evidenced by this weekend's fight, so it appears that claim was never true. Tyron has gotten very emotional in the build-up, and emotions often make us say untrue and rather stupid things, like saying he may hit Colby with an intentional nut shot. Voicing that is pretty stupid. Tyron has attacked Colby's gimmick, saying he's disrespectful, a sellout, has given the morals and values for a check, a click, and a follow. To me, this one gets labeled under stupid. Yeah, Colby's gimmick is pretty cringy, but this weekend, that gimmick is going to earn Tyron a lot of money. After losing badly for 50 minutes straight, Tyron is no longer a hot commodity, and people have lost interest. Tyron won't do it, but his bank account will thank this cringy gimmick, because it doesn't seem as if anyone is interested in seeing Woodley fight anyone other than Colby Covington. Tyron has attacked Colby's character, saying Colby will be racist toward him in the build-up to their fight. This one obviously must be labeled as untrue. Tyron has a long history of interpreting even the slightest notion as racist. Granted, it's often easy to come to that conclusion, and not only based on words, but also intonation and body language. And yes, there are a lot of racists out there, but we haven't heard Colby throw anything racist Tyron's way. Well, I haven't anyway. Let me know if you have. Tyron has attacked Colby's character, saying this one is personal because of all the things he's done for Colby, going so far as to say he's half the reason Colby's even in the UFC. I'm going to file this one under stupid and untrue. Colby is a hell of a fighter. Not a very likable one, but a very good one. Colby made it to the big leagues due to his skill set and his work ethic. All fighters have many people to thank for their success. Their coaches, their training partners, their friends and family, even the UFC itself. Tyron may very well have been Kamaru and Colby's mentor, but to say they have no legacy without me just comes off as desperate. Tyron has attacked Colby's gamemanship, saying he's scared. Again, stupid and untrue. Tyron has cited a lack of promotion and media, as well as Colby's absence from social media, as Colby being so scared that he can't or won't talk or appear anywhere. What does he think? That Colby is trembling in a closet somewhere, reluctant to peek out for fear of the ever-present Woodley monster? Colby is in a gym, training, too focused to spend time tweeting or making appearances, something Tyron is obviously not doing. Tyron has also contradicted himself many times during his many appearances and videos. It wasn't long ago Tyron nicknamed Colby Cockroach Covington, and even asked for help from cartoonists and designers like me to create a graphic and a meme for him. But when he heard Colby's Soy Jones Jr. comment, Tyron responded saying, "Well, I don't need a meme about him." Tyron has accused Colby of not working hard, of not being in the gym. He's also claimed that Colby has tasted his power firsthand and is now hard at work in the gym. One day Tyron says there's no room in fighting for politics, and the next he says he doesn't even think Colby voted for Trump. He actually said that. Tyron has done so many videos, so many podcasts, that he's starting to forget what he said. His mind is all over the place, except for the one place that it should be. Tyron has said some pretty weird stuff. I think he identified with being the champ so much that now that he's not, he's slowly losing his mind. He's already made a name for himself. That much cannot be denied. And he already has a fan base, a dwindling fan base, but he's still got one. He doesn't have to worry about selling the fight anymore. For the most part, his opponent will do that for him, as long as he doesn't fight Usman again or Leon Edwards. Colby has done a great job of convincing us to watch this one, and any future fights Tyron takes part in will likely come against up-and-coming contenders bringing their own fan base with them. The formula for success now is focus and hard work, but he's more out of focus than my third-grade librarian's eyesight. Tyron has admitted to seeing a sports psychologist trying to unlock his hidden potential, saying those last two fights weren't really him. He says he bought gold-colored training equipment to get into the champion mindset. He says he's now driving his truck because it makes him feel like a pit bull. He said he doesn't call anything a loss anymore, that he took 2 lessons in a row. You mean your resume and career got lessened twice in a row. Tyron has also spoken at length about bad company, about friends borrowing too much money or coming to him with matters that simply aren't important. Here's some advice, Tyron. Put down your phone. Get away from your friends for a few weeks every once in a while. Train so hard and so often that you don't have time to think. If you'll do that, you'll find success again. Tyron has been saying some pretty crazy stuff and appears to be slightly out of his mind. But he's right on the money about one thing. This fight is do or die. No, I don't think he'll get cut if he loses. But at 38 years old and on a 3-fight skid, he won't be taken seriously ever again. He'll become the guy the younger fighters make their name off of. He'll become the guy that new fans can't believe was ever champion. He'll become the guy that ruined his legacy. Stop talking, Tyron, before it's too late. In the world of MMA, there's always plenty to talk about. We've got some good episodes coming up. Next week, in preparation of Dominic Reyes and Jan Blachowicz, we'll talk about 10 years of UFC titles changing hands and what it takes to secure one. We'll talk about Nick Diaz supposedly making his way back to the octagon and whether or not we should care. We'll talk about Adesanya and Costa's crazy love affair and anything else that may pop up. We'll stay topical, talking about upcoming fights and events, so hit the subscribe button to stay up to date and notified of each video's release. And check out the previous episodes in the playlist. There's some good stuff in there, and good stuff to come. Till next time. Falling in love, I love you.